Faith Fraser alive, the whisper of that name is a paradox, a ghost on the wind that threatens to unravel everything Claire and Jamie have ever known their firstborn daughter, the child they mourned in a Parisian hospital. A loss that carved a permanent scar across both their souls. Could it all have been a lie? It sounds impossible, a madness born of grief. But in the stunning season 8 premiere, a single discovery shatters decades of heartbreak and pulls the Frasers into a truth far more dangerous than any war. If Faith is alive, where has she been who stole her from the cradle? And why what begins as a spark of impossible hope quickly ignites a deadly mystery, one steeped in betrayal, ancient secrets, and a conspiracy that could rewrite history itself. Could their daughter truly be out there, waiting, or is this the most brutal deception they have ever faced? Season 8, Episode 1 opens not with the battle, but with a quiet, impossible discovery on Fraser's Ridge. While clearing land, Jamie unearths a small, time-worn wooden box buried deep beneath the roots of an ancient oak. Inside, nestled in faded silk, is a tiny silver locket engraved with a single angel wing. Claire recognizes it instantly. It's the one she held for her stillborn daughter, a final token of love left with her in the hospital in Paris. How could it be here, in North Carolina, buried for decades? Determined to understand this impossibility, Claire is pulled into a quest that leads her down a path of forgotten history and dangerous memories stir in. It's not just her sanity at stake, but the truth of her own past, because the story of Faith's survival is guarded by forces that will do anything to keep it buried. Meanwhile, Jamie is torn between raw hope and furious disbelief. The thought that Faith could be alive shatters him to his core. How could he have grieved his child for so long only to find out it was all a lie? But as Jamie and Claire investigate the locket's origins, they realize they're not just searching for a lost child. They're uncovering a conspiracy that stretches across centuries. Enemies from their past seem to stir in shadows determined to keep the truth hidden. But why would someone orchestrate such a cruel deception, and who would have the power to steal a child, not just from her parents, but from time itself? As Claire pieces together the fragmented clues, she comes to a terrifying realization. Faith's survival is no miracle, it's a calculated move in a very old war. What was a dream of reunion becomes a nightmare of manipulation. Faith wasn't just saved, she was taken, and the person responsible is an old and ruthless enemy. They believed long dead, the Comte Saint Germain. They have weaponized Claire and Jamie's deepest sorrow, using their lost daughter as a pawn in a game where love is the bait and destiny is the prize. Claire finds herself in a race against time where every clue unravels not just the present, but everything she thought she knew about her own past, with danger closing in. She realizes that she alone may hold the key to understanding why Faith was taken, but doing so might cost her everything. Faith's possible return doesn't just reopen old wounds, it tests the very foundation of Claire and Jamie's bond. They are forced to confront the ghosts of their choices, the lives they couldn't save and still, the promises they thought were broken forever. Their love, once their greatest shield, is now their greatest vulnerability. And as long buried secrets begin to surface, they're no longer fighting just for their daughter. They're fighting to hold on to each other. Because this revelation is not the end of a tragic story, it's the beginning of a far darker one, a tale that threatens to destroy not just the Frasers, but the very fabric of history. And just when Claire feels she is on the verge of understanding, a message arrives, delivered by a mysterious stranger. It contains a single dried flower, a white rose, and a small note written in a familiar, elegant script containing a single word: Raymond, mysterious, otherworldly. Speaking in riddles, Master Raymond warns Claire through his message that some truths are too powerful to be unearthed, that Faith's survival was an act that defied fate itself, and that to pursue her now could unleash consequences that ripple through time. Yet Claire cannot turn back, driven by a mother's fierce love. She presses forward, undaunted and determined to find her child. The truth, as Raymond's clues reveal, is that Faith was taken at birth by an ancient order of time, travelers led by the Comte Saint Germain, an order that believes the timeline is a sacred text that cannot be altered. They saw Faith, a child of two worlds, as a paradox, a key that could unlock and rewrite history, a power they wanted to control for themselves, to maintain their grip on destiny. They faked her death and stole her away, hiding her somewhere outside of time itself, rewriting reality around the Fraser's grief. But now something has gone wrong. The place where Faith was hidden is becoming unstable. Her presence is beginning to bleed through time, creating echoes and paradoxes. That's why the locket appeared, calling out to her parents, horrified by this revelation. Claire realizes that Faith has been alive all the time, growing up in a place where she never knew her real family. But why now? Why are the signs only appearing now? Raymond's message reveals the chilling truth. Faith is in grave danger. Her very existence is causing time to fracture, and the Comte is preparing to eliminate her to correct his experiment. If Claire doesn't find her soon, Faith will be erased forever, driven by love and terror. Claire races back to Jamie with the truth. But Jamie's reaction is not what she expects. He is consumed by a cold rage, furious that the Comte man he despised has held this power over his family for decades. But underneath the anger is the profound pain of a father who grieved a child that was never gone. Jamie can't bear the thought of losing Faith again, not after this hope has been rekindled, but Claire refuses to give up. She convinces Jamie that they must fight no matter the cost, because Faith is their daughter and she needs them together. They set out on a deadly mission to find the place where Faith is hidden before it's too late. But they're not the only ones searching. The Count's followers are closing in, determined to erase their mistake forever. As Jamie and Claire follow the trail of clues left by Raymond, they realize they're walking into a trap. Their enemies are waiting, ready to destroy anyone who stands in their way. And the closer they get to Faith, the more dangerous the journey becomes. The stakes are higher than they have ever been. One wrong move could change the course of Lily's history or end their lives. But Jamie and Claire won't back down. Not now, not when they're so close to finding the daughter they thought they had lost forever. Jamie and Claire are no longer just parents, searching for their lost child. They are warriors willing to risk everything they have, even their own lives, to bring Faith home, but with enemies lurking in every corner and danger tightening its grip like a noose. The most haunting question echoes louder than ever. Will they find her in time, or will the truth of Faith's survival be the thing that ultimately destroys them? Their journey is not a straight path, but a labyrinth of riddles and historical threads laid by an enemy who has had decades to prepare. The Comp's Order is an elusive and powerful group of travelers who will stop at nothing to protect their secrets. They are silent predators, hiding in plain sight, slipping through the folds of time like ghosts, cold, calculating, and utterly without mercy. As Jamie and Claire chase the clues through the past, they uncover hidden agendas, betrayals buried in history, and allies who may not be what they seem. Each step toward Faith is a step deeper into peril, and the closer they get to the truth, the more their own reality begins to unravel. Their only hope lies in following Master Raymond's cryptic guidance, which leads them to a hidden location in Scotland, a place of immense temporal power. One of the first stone circles ever erected, Raymond reveals it, contains a forbidden power, the ability to see echoes of things that exist outside of normal time. This circle doesn't just show the past, it feels it. It connects the feels it. Them to Faith and fleeting, heart-wrenching visions of a young woman raised in isolation in a timeless world, looking out at a life she doesn't understand, searching for a family she's never known. Claire watches in silent agony as she sees Faith for the first time. Her daughter's eyes filled with, and Gwither's eyes filled with unanswered questions, her spirit flickering like a candle in the dark. Jamie sees the fire in her, his own stubborn strength mirrored in her defiance, her resilience, her will to survive. These glimpses give them hope, but they come with a terrible price. The stone circle is unstable, every use fractures. Time a little more, the past begins to shift, familiar faces forget who they are. Events that once happened now unfold differently. The future becomes a chaotic storm. The very thread of time begins to fray, and Jamie and Claire realize they're not only trying to save their daughter, they're fighting to save the world as they know it. And the Comte is watching, infuriated by the Frasers' defiance and terrified of what they might unleash. He dispatches his most lethal agent, a ruthless assassin known as the Seer, a traveler who can glimpse moments of the future. For Jamie and Claire, every second becomes a seconds battle for survival. As the hunter closes in, with time running out and reality collapsing around them, Claire turns to the one place that might still hold answers, Raymond's old apothecary in Paris. But when she arrives, she finds it empty, ransacked. The shop is in ruins. Raymond is gone, taken, or worse yet. Amidst the wreckage, a final hope remains, a hidden compartment containing a small leather-bound journal. A journal that explains everything. The Temple of Time, the place where Faith was taken, is not a physical location. It's a pocket dimension, a bubble of reality, hidden from the world, and the key to entering it is not an object, but a person, someone who can anchor the gateway. Now, Jamie and Claire must make an impossible journey through a shifting world, relentlessly pursued to the heart of a mystery that began before they ever met to save Faith. They'll have to sacrifice everything, and time is almost up. It's their only hope. The journey is perilous, leading them across treacherous landscapes and through ancient ruins filled with deadly traps, with danger lurking at every turn. Jamie and Claire must rely on each other like never before. Their love is their greatest strength, but also their greatest weakness. The Comte knows this and uses it against them, creating illusions to manipulate their emotions and break their spirits. Jamie is haunted by visions of losing Claire, while Claire is tormented by memories of Faith slipping through her fingers. They're fighting not just for their daughter, but for each other and for their very souls as they near the hidden location of the gateway. Jamie and Claire realize they're not just facing an ancient order, they're facing destiny itself. The Comp's followers steer themselves as guardians of time, protectors of the timeline. To save, Jamie and Claire must defy them, rewriting history and challenging the very fabric of time. But altering destiny comes at a cost, and the consequences could be catastrophic. The tension is unbearable. The stakes are higher than ever. Every decision Jamie and Claire make could change the world, as they know that it costs it. And as they prepare to open the gateway, one question haunts them. Can they truly defy fate, or will their quest to save Faith be the end of them all? The battle is far from over. The Kant's followers are closing in, the timeline is unraveling, and the journey to save Faith is about to reach its most in this dangerous turning point inside the ancient stone circle. The air is heavy with power, and the stones themselves hum with the voice of those who came before. Jamie and Claire step cautiously, their hearts pounding as they realize they're standing at the center of everything in this powerful nexus. Where past, present, and future converge, the circle is a gateway designed to protect the greatest secret of all, the truth about Faith's existence. But they're not alone. The seer is here, lurking in the shadows, watching their every move. He is the Comp's most dangerous weapon, a man who can glimpse possible futures, bending reality to his will. He taunts them, his voice echoing through the stones, reminding them they're trespassing on Twinton, sacred ground. He knows their weaknesses, their fears, and he uses them mercilessly, creating illusions that blur the line between what's real and what's not. James sees Culloden again, but this time Claire falls beside him, while Claire is haunted by visions of Faith calling out for her, just out of reach. The illusions are designed to break them, to drive them apart, but Jamie and Claire are stronger together. They cling to each other, refusing to let the darkness consume them. They fight through the illusions, grounding themselves in their love and trust. It's their bond that guides them through the chaos. So, leading them to the heart of the circle, where the gateway must be opened deep within the circle of stones, Jamie and Claire reach the center, a place of heavy silence and secrets. The air crackles with ancient energy. At the center lies the heartstone, carved with glowing runes, pulsing with a mint canon. Otherworldly light. This isn't just a relic of the past, it's a gateway between worlds, and it's here in this sacred place that they can finally reach Faith. The truth is close enough to touch, but unlocking it demands more than courage. It demands sacrifice. The circle senses their presence awakening from meaning, from centuries of slumber. The symbols shift and shimmer as if alive, whispering in a forgotten language. Claire steps forward, heart pounding, hands trembling, as she lays her palms on the altar stone. Her love for Faith, surging through her light, explodes around her, swallowing her whole. And suddenly, she's no longer in the present. She's seeing into the pocket dimension, watching her daughter living a life in solitude before her eyes. The Comp's dark ritual unfolds as he bound Faith to this timeless prison, convinced that her existence threatened the delicate balance of history. Claire watches in horror, as sin horror, as Mahor. She understands her daughter was stolen from her arms, erased from the very memory of the world. But amid the despair, a glimmer of hope through the haze of magic. Claire sees Faith, a young woman with fire in her eyes and sorrow in her soul. Her face is filled with longing, confusion, and a spark of recognition, as if she knows who Claire is. Their eyes meet across the barrier of time, and then Faith whispers, her voice trembling, echoing through Claire's mind. Mama, help me. Claire reaches out, but the vision begins to collapse. A sudden flash of steel. The seer emerges from the shadows like death itself, his blade aimed for Claire's heart. But before the strike lands, Jamie intercepts his love, propelling him into battle. Steel clashes in a furious storm. The seer is swift moving with an unnatural grace, but Jamie fights like a man with nothing left to lose. and everything left to protect as the battle rages. The circle itself begins to crack under the strain of fate. Claire realizes there is only one way to bring Faith back. She must break the seal the Comte created, but doing so will unravel the pocket dimension, tear a hole in the fabric of time, and risk plunging the world into chaos. Still the Tao still. Claire doesn't hesitate. Tears stream down her face as she recites the incantation from Master Raymond's journal. His final gift, etched in memory and sealed in fate. Her voice trembles, then steadies, rising with the strength of a mother's love. The altar flares with blinding light, the circle shakes. Violently time shatters past and present collide. In a kaleidoscope of visions, Claire sees Faith growing up alone, but resilient. She sees amid pain strength blooming in shadows, and then one perfect moment, Faith, no longer a child, stands beside Jamie and Claire smiling whole. But just as the vision reaches its peak, it vanishes. The seer screams in rage. His power, tied to the stability of the circle, begins to unravel. He lunges for Claire. With a final desperate strike, Jane, bloody but unbroken, meets him. Head on with a final devastating blow, he sends the seer tumbling into the abyss of time, never to return. The victory is theirs, but it comes at a cost. The circle of stones begins to implode. The heartstone cracks, its runes fading to ash. The gateway, their only guide, shatters into dust. The sanctuary crumbles around them as Jamie and Claire flee, dodging falling stone and collapsing magic. They burst into the open air. Just as the circle vanishes, swallowed by time itself, leaving nothing but ruins, they fall to their knees, exhausted and heartbroken. But Claire's resolve is unshaken. She's seen her daughter, she's heard her cry, and no force in the universe will keep them apart now. She turns to Jamie, eyes blazing with unrelenting fire. "We're getting her back," she vows, voice unwavering. James nods, fierce love shining in his gaze. "I swear, Mama and Nivi, we'll bring her home." But as they rise, the sky above them shifts. The air feels different. The trees seem older. The village lights beyond the hills are unfamiliar. The timeline has changed. The world they've returned to is not the one they left. The Comte may have been wounded, but he is not defeated. And as ripples of broken time spread across history, a new battle begins because destiny has been rewritten. And for Jamie, Claire, and Faith, the true war is just beginning. As Jamie and Claire emerge from the ruins of the stone circle, they realize the world around them is eerily different. The air feels colder, the sky darker, and the land is scarred as if touched by a great calamity. They've changed the timeline, and the consequences are already rippling through history. But there's no time to dwell on the past. Faith is out there trapped in a collapsing dimension, and every second counts. Returning to Fraser's Ridge, they're met with familiar faces who seem off. Their friends and family look at them with suspicion, their memories altered by the timeline shift. Even Brianna and Roger don't recognize them. At first, their minds clouded by the Comte's influence. It's as if Jamie and Claire are strangers in their own home. The heartbreak is palpable, but they refuse to give up, determined to restore their family and find Faith. Claire dives into her books, searching for answers about the collapsing dimension. She recalls Master Raymond's cryptic warnings about the void where time stands still, a place souls can be lost forever, but there's a way to pull Faith out, a final anchor point known as the Well of Souls, guarded by the Comte himself. To open the well, they need a key of sorts, a mystical artifact. Lost to time legend has it that the key is hidden within the stones of Craig na Dun, protected by Hadmiat and protected by ancient magic. But the stones are even more dangerous now, unstable from the temporal shockwave. One wrong step could send them hurtling into an unknown era, lost forever. Jamie and Claire have no choice to save Faith. They must risk everything. Their quest takes them across Scotland, following the whispers of old legends. They face enemies who remember the world before the timeline changed, the Comte's loyalists who seek to restore their master's power. These foes are relentless, willing to do anything to stop Jamie and Claire from reaching the Well of Souls. The battles are fierce, the enemies cunning, ruthless, but Jamie and Claire are a force to be reckoned with, fighting side by side. Their bond is unbreakable through every challenge. Their love remains their greatest strength. They face illusions designed to break